You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. And in this quick huddle, man, I want to talk about the Bubba Cunningham interview with Jones, Angell, and Adam Lucas today, and especially the part of the interview in which he talks about the status of the coaching search as of December 2nd. So Bubba talked about how initially UNC was the only Power 4 conference, obviously, with a vacant head coaching spot, and that has since ballooned out to about 4 schools right now. I think it's obviously Carolina, UCF, I think West Virginia, and there's another team if I'm not mistaken. But he talked about how, it's an extremely desirable position. He's getting all kinds of agents and coaches contacting him with interest in the job. And he made a very interesting comment about how all the coaches that they're talking to right now are currently playing. And he's, of course, talking about how they're in championship games, like right now. And so, it's kind of an interesting statement because I'd heard, that maybe they had reached out to Bill Belichick. Obviously, Dan Mullen is not an active coach right now. And I had heard that Dan Mullen was kind of on the table. Jimbo Fisher was possibly on the table. And those guys are not actively coaching. So I don't know if that's maybe misspeak or if, how much you can actually deduce from what he's saying right there. But it seemed to insinuate that, hey, every coach that we're talking to right now is actively coaching and they are currently in a bowl game. And so I just thought that that was a very interesting statement. I don't know, man. He did say that it's going to take about a week or so. Ideally, he would like it to be 24 to 48 hours, but because all of those coaches are still coaching and they're preparing for championship games, if you will, he expects it to be about a week before he is able to announce the new coach at the University of North Carolina, man. And I think it's a very interesting timeline because obviously early signing day is from the 4th through the 6th, and everybody's wondering what in the world is going to happen with Bryce Baker, and what decision is he going to make, considering that Carolina does not have a active coach. Freddie Kitchens has obviously got the interim tag, but what decision will Bryce Baker make? Not knowing who the head coach is going to be. And then you have obviously the portal that opens on the 9th through the 28th, which would be a little bit more conducive to, the head coach being announced, around that time frame a week from now. So that was also interesting when he was asked what is the most important thing he was looking for. He clearly and, matter of factly seemed to emphasize fit. He mentioned navigating the revenue sharing and NIL. And one of the things, though, that I was really pleased to hear is that he said that we're looking for the coach that can take us from good to great. And then he mentioned ACC and national championships. And, whether those things are attainable, obviously the natties and stuff like that, whether those things are attainable or not, that is for a different topic. But even the mention of them is extremely significant to me. And the ACC championships is extremely significant to me because those words basically they insinuate that Bubba Cunningham is saying that what we've witnessed over the course of the last few seasons, that's not the standard, right? That's not going to be the bar. That's not going to be what's good enough. It's not good enough. And I love to hear that we're aspiring for greatness, man. You can never just be content with mediocrity. And so it would make me a little bit upset if we went from Mack Brown talking about ACC and Natties, when he first got here, to now we're trying to hire somebody to take us from good to great, and we're not mentioning ACC championships and national championships as the stated goal, man. He then made mention of the personal preferences, of hiring someone that has done it before, and then he acknowledged that's how he always starts the process. He has these certain things that he's looking for, but that he doesn't always end up, with those parameters. Sometimes he goes outside of those initial parameters. So I thought that was very interesting because, it really does seem like this thing is still kind of very much out in the air, at least what he was giving in the Jones Angell, Adam Lucas interview, man. But then he says, you know, another thing that's extremely important to me, but you got to take it with a grain of salt because I really don't know the extent of what he's saying. But he said, we know how important football is for the future of college athletics and our department. And I think people see that and it's attractive. And my question is do you really see that, Bubba? Okay, because if that's the case, if that statement is true, and you see how important football is, not only to college athletics, but to the University of North Carolina's athletic department, that would insinuate to me that you're saying we're all in. We're all in. And the question that I have for you is, are we actually all in, or is this just AD speaks, man? So, look, I'm going to put a link to that interview. I encourage you to stick and watch it. I think it's a pretty good interview. And you guys let me know what you're able to deduce from, Bubba Cunningham and his statements. Once again, looks like it's going to be possibly another week before we hear who the University of North Carolina will hire as the head coach. And, it's a little bit later than I was anticipating, but it is what it is, man. So comment down in the comment section what you think about this. Make sure you go and check out that interview on Go Heels, and we'll catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation.